And we are live. Welcome to WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network Radio. I'm your host of the Barber Shop, Dr. Christopher Salute, life and relationship coach, as well as Cece likes to say, I have all these silly letters after my name. But tonight we have a special show for you. We are joined by Graham Williamson, and I'm going to learn a little bit about what it is that you do. You're a psychic medium, I believe, and there's a difference between a psychic and a psychic medium. So I'm going to figure out what that is. Now, Graham, I am the worst at introducing folks. I'm going to pull some stuff from your bio here, and then I'm going to tell you, go at it. Tell people about you, because I'm going to forget the pertinent stuff. So Graham is an international evidential medium, psychic healer, and counselor for well over 50 years. Now, this is somebody who's got a ton of experience. He's in England at the moment, so very different than or are you from England?
From England.
From England. Okay. So the very, very, you're going to hear a very different type of culture, I'd imagine. You know, the English tend to be a little bit more reserved than us Americans. Moved to the U.S. right in 2001. And, would like to hear about some stories of folks that you've helped, all that kind of fun stuff. So, Graham, what am I missing? Tell us a little bit about you. Why are we on the show? Give me some insight into who you are.
Well, I moved over here in 2001, December 2001.
Yeah.
I used to do a little show called on Pal Talk back in June of 2001 and do mediumship. And I used to do classes. And one day a lady came in just before the end of the show, started talking to her, give her a reading. I said, I can't finish it because the time allotted was finishing in 5 minutes. I'll be back in 2 days. 2 days later, I finished reading. That lady and I have been talking now for 22 years.
Wow.
I came over here December 2001. And we married January 2002.
Now, you married this person?
Yeah, we've been married for 22 years.
Oh, my goodness.
Because of my gifts and her abilities.
Now, here's my question, now for the people watching, right? And if you're watching on TikTok, life was different back then, right? Oh. In that there weren't all these restrictions and limitations on if I meet somebody through collaboration or work and that kind of stuff. But did your work create an issue that you all kind of worked in the same field?
Well, no, not really. My wife was just a housewife with 2 daughters, and we just hit it off emotionally, and we fell in love. And I didn't plan on coming over to get married. I came over here for a vacation, 3 weeks.
Funny.
But I've only been back to England twice in the time I've been here, because the connection we have was so physical in energy. I could feel my wife's energy in England.
Get out.
I knew when she was feeling happy, sad, and her daughters. I said, "What's up with?" I won't mention names, but the girls, and I could describe their symptoms. It's because of when you connect with somebody, you can feel that knowing. It's not a believing, it's a knowing. It's like you and I, we became friends through CC and through the show.
Sure.
And well, I'd say more associate, but becoming friends.
Yeah.
Because we both respect each other's individuality. And that's the beauty of spiritualism.
Mm-hmm.
We are all individuals that work through the essence of what makes us alive.
Absolutely.
You can put it whatever label you want to label it, divine intervention, whatever.
Of course.
It's what it is. And from that, I've been doing studies before I came to America. I went to different churches, the Spiritualist National Association, which is the governing body for spiritualism in England, the NSA. And I went to many churches. Mm-hmm. But then I came over here and I joined the NSA, National Spiritualist Association.
Right, the American one. Right,
yeah,
right.
And I did the Morris Pratt course, which was supposed to be only a 6 to 8 week course, but I spent 3 years doing it totally on my own.
Wow.
Because they wanted to go to churches, they wanted to take classes with other people. I couldn't because I was working full time with a big business in Florida. And so it took me 3 years to do it, but I passed the exams quite high. Mm-hmm, and my work, my essays, some of it was used in the NSA's magazine.
Love it.
So, everything worked because I hid nothing.
Right.
This is who I am 24/7. I communicate with people, not at people.
Mm.
And if I like you, I'll talk to you. If I don't, sorry.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So for those joining, right, and this is something that I'm really trying to learn about a little bit, because I'm spirituality, karma, all this stuff, right? Even if you follow, traditional monotheistic Christian religion, these words, they mean the same thing, right? To say that there is a divine being who helps to work the universe, right, is very similar to saying that there's a karmic energy around us, right? This energy can flow in either way. So it's something that I've been exploring. Now, here's my question to a novice, to someone new like me. What's a medium? How do I define you?
Okay. Everybody's heard the term psychic.
Yeah, everyone knows psychic, right?
Every psychic is material, physical connection with themselves and ability around them, the energy around them. But you don't talk to spirit. Spirit is a higher elevation of energy that's people calling themselves medium have worked to become. They don't live in negativity. They don't live with both feet off the ground saying, "Oh, look, I'm with spirit." That's not me. I'm grounded because I have a North Pole, South Pole of the energy that flows through me.
Mm-hmm.
But this energy that is within me has been learnt by my attitude of doing the best I can for other people.
Okay.
That energy that you were talking about, in one sense, the divine energy, is energy that permeates through animate and inanimate objects.
Okay.
And we're all connected by this energy, but at different frequencies. Now, if you understand frequency of energy,
mm-hmm.
you can sometimes, as a psychic, you can walk into a room and you feel comfortable, or you don't, and you know something's wrong or right. That's the psychic side, the physical. But when you're working with spirit, you start getting these memories that you have activated by the spirit working through you. They use your memories to say, especially when a loved one's just recently passed, then you remember your loved one who's passed, and you relate to the person, the recipient, what you're feeling.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think, because it's not a conscious thought. As there was a show, a quick one, there was a show on Dr. Oz, and they had the Long Island medium.
Yes.
Did you see that show?
I did, and I'll tell you a funny story after.
Well, because of what they did on the repeat show, they had the Long Island medium on the second show because Dr. Oz was completely stunned, and they put electrodes around her head, showed the brain waves. Her brain was active, doing all things, and said, "Right, will you start doing readings now?" As soon as she started reading, her brain, half of it went to sleep.
Interesting.
Because when you're working with spirit, it's not a conscious effort.
Wow.
It is not the physical, mental ability of the medium. It's what flows through. And she was completely animate, completely doing everything, talking everything. Sure. When she finished, her brain became active again. But it was wired. It wasn't Wi-Fi or anything like that. It was just wired. And you could see the brainwave.
Wow.
And you could see the graph. It was fantastic. And
that is fantastic.
True mediums understand why they can't remember a reading. Key points to remember. Because the energy flows through, it's going through the brain, but it's coming out through the mouth and by the actions. That's why a medium is answerable for their words and actions.
That's incredible. That's incredible. We've got some folks joining on TikTok. We've got folks like Erica who are saying she also has this gift as well, and she's agreeing with a lot of things that you say. And as you're talking, I'm pulling up some of the different types of abilities, from clairvoyance to clairsentience to even mediums who can channel and bring these folks in. So I guess my question then to you, Graham, with all of these different types, and we can go through some of the definitions, but with all these different types of mediums and their abilities, what do you define yours? What do you identify as?
I don't.
You don't.
As soon as you label yourself other than the medium, intuitive. I have used the term medical intuitive, but because the laws are so strict, I am not medically trained. I cannot diagnose. I do not treat. I just evaluate.
Yes.
But using the term medium is the only label I can use that covers everything. Because if I say I can only do A, B, C, D, then I'm limiting my natural innate ability. It's like when I meet somebody, you instinctively know whether you like that person or not. And you want to shake hands or you don't want to shake hands.
Sure.
You are answering your own innate ability.
Got it.
You feel comfortable or you don't. But when I work with spirit, exactly the same. But I don't know what ability is going to come through.
Interesting. So you just kind of you're making that connection and waiting for that energy to hit you in the right way.
Yeah, the energy is coming through automatically because before I do the show, I always have intention. I always set my goals, my parameters before I do a show. Every morning I say, thank you, I'm awake. This is another chance to do the highest and best I can with others and myself. When I'm doing a show, I say I only ask for positive attitude, energy to do the highest and best. At night, I say thank you every day. And it's a habit because I don't want ever to give somebody a negative reading. I can't give a negative reading. I got told off not giving somebody a reading to tell them they had cancer. I said, I'm not a doctor. I can't diagnose and tell them, hey, you've got cancer.
Yeah.
I got told off.
Yeah.
And I went, hang on, that's not what a medium's about.
Right. Right. Now it's interesting. So a couple of things that I noted, right? So there's training involved, which I think is really important to note that yes. So I would imagine that this gift you're born with, but you can hone it, right? So I know of folks who, for example, as children would see spirits and it haunted. They didn't know what they were seeing. It was haunting to them. Even if they were positive experiences, they were scared. Honing this experience, I would imagine, teaches you how to avoid the bad and connect with the good, right?
Yeah, definitely. I was very fortunate. Well, evidently my spirit knew I was going to be born into the right family. My mother was a rescue medium, which means somebody who dies traumatically doesn't realize they passed over onto the spirit realm.
Got it.
And they live in their own secular world, and their light is not really bright because they don't understand what's happened. And the rescue medium goes to rescue them, show them that, sorry, you have passed. It's time to see the light and advance.
Goodness.
And my grandmother was a medium. And they both taught my 4 other siblings at the time everything that they could basically. And they said, each of you do it your own way. This is the correct way, as in intention, attitude, love, care, empathy. If you don't have that, don't even try it. Because you're going to hit a brick wall, and it's called ego.
Interesting. Now, question, because I've got now a couple of folks are saying I have this gift and I have this gift. Now, I would say this to anyone who's an intuitive empath. So I'm 1000% empath. I can feel in the pit of my stomach, in the depths of my heart, when someone walks in and it's not a good vibe, or it is a good vibe, or if I've met them in past lives, or that kind of stuff. If you have some of these abilities, is it possible to see if you've got others?
Yeah. Well, what you're describing is the psychic side, Chris.
Okay.
Empathy is psychic.
Okay.
Because that's the difference between the material and the physical is one thing, but the spirit is something totally different. When you start seeing ghosts, it doesn't always mean that you're a medium. It's just that you are possibly going to become a medium.
It's possible that you may have
to hone the ability. Okay. But you've got to be answerable and honest with yourself. And not many people realize when you actually deeply go into yourself and say, this is mine, I own it. Everything I've ever done, I've had to own, the good, bad, and the ugly. but it made me what I am today. So
Mhm.
I'm not proud of it, but if I didn't have it, I couldn't help somebody else.
Right. Right.
So, it's empathy is just compassion.
Right. Right.
And if you're compassionate towards helping somebody, you have a chance to build and hone that ability, because the more you practice it, the more it flows.
That, of course. It's interesting. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Now go.
It's interesting that you mentioned that. So, and just so that you know, on TikTok, I'm loving the comments. You're all wonderful. We're going to be moving over to Instagram in a few minutes, so feel free to jump on there. It's funny that you mentioned about training and the gift. So a few years back, all of a sudden, I wound up being able to manipulate my dreams. They call it lucid dreaming. I don't know if you're aware of this.
Yeah.
And so literally all of a sudden, during a dream, I was able to change a few things, and then the next night more, and to the point where I'm going to sleep thinking of one thing, and I develop an entire dream about it. I wake up, can remember but writing the thing down. I'm writing books about these things. They're these fantastical things. All of a sudden, when I start taking some of these ADHD medications, even though I'm now off them, completely stops. So now I'm looking at some classes that you can take that it can actually hone that ability. So to your point, you're born with some of it, but if you want to keep it, you've got to keep working at it, right?
Yeah. And also, we call that astral projection or astral travel.
Interesting.
The fact that your spiritual self leaves the physical body and goes on to the astral plane, where you can imagine or you can factually state and see and record things. And
Yes.
you can actually manipulate what you're seeing as projection.
Yes. So I was able to at that moment,
Yes.
for that year or two, I was able to manifest things like to a T. There was a woman that I wanted to go on a date with, and I pictured, and she was not accessible. She was not easy to get a hold of. I pictured us out to dinner one night. Within the year, we had gone out to dinner, and it was almost impossible that would happen. So very interesting. Now, on that note, TikTok, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. We're gonna move over to Instagram, but Erica, I'm loving he's spot on. Talking about boundaries and crowded places, we'll bring that up as well. But move over to Instagram. We'll want to talk to you there for sure.
Is that Erica B, for want of a word?
No, it's
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Different Erica,
Okay.
but she's a friend of mine who actually has told me that she's got some medium abilities, and I forgot that before engaging in the show.
Well, let me just tell you something just for a minute
Sure.
there with Erica. The first thing I was picking up from Erica, I thought it was Erica B, but seeing you clarified it wasn't. Just ask your friend, has she had stomach issues in the last 5 weeks? Yes or no?
Interesting. Okay, I will. So she's not on the.
Yep, I understand.
Thing now. If she joins Instagram, or I'll message her. So we want to ask stomach issues in the last 5 weeks. That's
Yes.
important to ask. I will absolutely do that. So it's the contention. Then let me ask this: from what I'm hearing, psychics deal with the living. Psychic mediums, right? Because mediums are a type of psychic, right?
Yes.
Psychic mediums deal with those who have passed on or have not passed on yet.
Are connected with spirit. Now, one thing you've got to remember,
Yes.
you can connect with spirit on this side and the other side.
Oh, so you can speak to the
Yes.
living.
Yes.
You can connect with the. Oh, okay.
Yes. Because
Now-
the spirit is a living thing, this world and the next.
Okay. Now so I don't know if Erica heard this or not. Is that you saying yes? So Graham would like to know, Erica, if you have experienced any stomach issues over the last 5 weeks or so. Please let us know in the messages if you've experienced that, because that would be a connection that he's getting from you. So very cool, very cool. Now, it was that the yes. We'll wait. So I want to jump into. I'm going to be honest and let me know how you're feeling. Do you feel anything from me at this moment?
Yeah, I was thinking about your jaw. The first thing I was thinking about your jaw. It's like aching on the side of your mouth.
I mean, always, because I'm
know.
very tense.
I've not seen you for how long?
Yeah.
But the first thing I think when we were talking, it's like you clench, and there's a lot of tissue on the side of your mouth.
Interesting. Yeah, always clenching.
And also the side of your nose, your
Yep,
breathing,
right here.
your nasal issue.
Yeah. It's been dry and interesting.
Just one side though.
Wow.
Yeah, but
That's
you see, what I'm doing is picking up your energy, and I'm feeling it in me, which I know it's not because I know I didn't have it until I connected with you.
Got it.
And with Erica and with other people asking. That's what you do. You just know which is your energy and what's affecting your energy in order to relay it.
Wow.
What happened to your foot?
To what?
What happened to your foot?
My foot?
Yeah.
Do you want to see? You can't see it right now. My
No, I
foot.
can't. There's something wrong with your foot.
So my foot, and I'll tell you about Erica in a second. My foot is on I have a rubber ball under my right foot.
Okay.
And you didn't know this about me. Anytime I'm in an office chair, I typically try to put my right foot on a rubber ball because I have very bad sciatica. And
so
is
that what it is?
So yeah,
it's the back of my foot that I'm feeling the ache and the pain, which is a sciatic nerve.
Now it's so Erica's saying the same thing. Now Erica's saying she's had in the past 5 weeks some stomach issues. Now, Mike, which is phenomenal that you're understanding this. Here's my question now, Graham. You can feel this? Are you in pain a lot?
No. As soon as I recognize that there's a symptom, I can actually ask the question. So long as it's understood, I can then let it go. I don't keep it.
Okay, once you recognize
it, I'm just saying, take it away.
It's a signal, a message that it's trying to get to you.
Yeah.
Okay, very cool. Now, I want to get to some other questions, but I want to be aware of. So Megan asks, what is encompassed in the spirit? So I think if I'm understanding correctly, what are the limitations of what's in the spirit and what's not in the spirit?
That's a difficult one because I don't fully know.
Right.
The term encompassed in the spirit, well, it's the human emotions. And especially when somebody's lived on this earth and gone back to spirit, they are taking all those emotions that they've learned on this earth. Because I learned a long time where spirit having a human experience. And this is why those that achieve understanding, it's called self-enlightenment. You've found out your purpose.
Got it.
And to be encompassed with spirit, what is encompassed with spirit is every human emotion. So you get the good spirits that are achieving positive attitude, and you get the bad ones. So that's why people say be careful because you're talking to the dead. No, we're talking to the spirit, which never dies. I've never talked to a dead body.
Okay.
A dead body is deceased.
It's a body.
It's gone. What animates that body is no longer there. It's upstairs, for want of a better expression. And that is what you connect with. It's not a body. What you see, ghosts, it's the spirit memory of the spirit as when they were alive. And they're trying to form it as they see themselves. Sometimes you see a light, an orb, rainbows, or sound, or smell. I've had people asked, and I've said, did your mother or grandfather smoke a cigar or a pipe? Because I'm getting that distinct. My stepfather used to smoke a pipe, and it was a certain type of tobacco. I said, was it that? Yeah, how do you know? You can have it. I don't want to smoke in my room. And I can have a laugh with it.
Right. That's it. That is very interesting. Now, you mentioned the smells and the feelings and that kind of stuff. So these are legit, and you're proving, I think, to us that this is legitimate. But one of the things that I Googled that I was thinking about this today when I said, okay, I'm going to have Graham on the show. I would imagine that there are folks in this world who are not legitimate mediums.
Okay.
How can we figure out who's legit and who's not?
Again, that's where the psychic comes in.
Okay.
When you sit, like you're feeling what from me, Chris?
I feel a warmth. I feel a focus.
Yeah.
And I feel a general a calmness.
Do you feel trust?
Of course.
No, not of course. That's the point. If you don't feel that from the one who's supposed to be giving you a reader, get up and walk away.
Got it.
If you don't feel trust, if you think, oh, they're just milking me, because whenever somebody sits with me, first thing I say, do not tell me anything, just yes and no. What is your name?
Okay.
And I give them the information.
Interesting. You give them the information.
Exactly. I give you.
But that's why I feel the trust is because you've guessed things, not guessed things, you've felt things that are in my body that nobody really knows other than my partner probably and a few of my friends. Yeah. So that's why I'm going to trust you, because there's no way you would have been able to look at my body and known that my right foot had an ailment.
All right. What's this about jigsaws in New Zealand, Chris?
Jigsaws?
Jigsaws. You used to do a lot of jigsaws, or with somebody with jigsaws.
So that's
what I'm being told. Somebody is telling me you used to do jigsaws or were with somebody that did a lot of jigsaws in.
Now, I will say this. Now, I don't know if this is a stretch or not, but let's talk about this. So if you're not hearing, Graham just said jigsaws. He's saying something's going on with jigsaws. You might be talking to my mother, and I'll tell you why. My mother passed a long time ago.
Don't give information.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
The point is, the jigsaws are synonymous to you in your past.
Yes.
And this is the thing that you used to help and hinder and always had a laugh with your parent.
Interesting. So jigsaw puzzles, I used to, when I was a kid, I did a few of them, and it's just not something that I enjoyed too much. Now, my partner has just said to me recently, I'd like to she bought some puzzles. She wants to start doing some jigsaws. So that could be one. But the second thing I would say is this. I recently bought a jigsaw. And I will say this. I've been channeling my family comes from contractors, generations of contractors, and I'm a doctor. I'm a PhD. I'm not, these hands don't do the stuff. But I have found recently, about 6 weeks ago, I bought a jigsaw, and I said, you know what? I'm going to start buying these tools. I'm going to start learning these things. And I will tell you, almost once a day, today I didn't get to work with my hands, and it hurt me. When I'm able to pick up a saw or a drill or something and do something in the house, fix something, make something, my day is much, much better.
But this is one of the points I'd like to make. The fact that I picked up on jigsaws.
Yeah.
You've explained two meanings.
Yes.
One is a jigsaw tool, and the other is a jigsaw puzzle.
Right.
And the reason why you picked that to do is because the memory your mother stimulated in your memory bank is what made you think of doing what you do. The connection with the word jigsaw.
That is.
I only said jigsaw. I didn't say puzzle or thing, but it's to do with making a jigsaw.
Right.
That's what the spirit do. They tap into my memory because I love jigsaws.
Right.
I haven't made one for a long time, like you. And that's because I know what I'm talking about consciously, but when I'm working with spirit, I trust my instinct, my intuition.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing. I can't explain it better. It's just I trust the instinct, the imprint that I get.
Got it. Very interesting. This is wild. That I have to say this for sure. So I know Cece's asking if we're ready for a break. I think we're going to take a couple-minute break. We are on WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network Radio. You are watching The Barber Shop. I'm here with Graham Williamson, who's really astounding in the empathetic narration and connections that he's making. So please do stay with us. This is Dr. Christopher Salute. You are watching WGSN, The Barber Shop. Graham will be back with you in a second, but we're going to take a break right now. So be with us in a moment. Cece, in a moment. So sorry, I'm texting Graham. I have to tell you, I'm texting with a few folks. So Erica says the spirits around her, or the spirit has been so active. I have to bring up something. I think I may have given you too much information about jigsaws, and I'll tell you why. Because I mean, my mother died when I was very young. I don't know that we did that many puzzles, but I will tell you this: one of my dear friends, a very important person in my life, as well as an important person in my partner's life, is listening to the show, and they sent me a picture of a digital jigsaw puzzle that they are currently doing. And when I tell you, this is not someone that I speak to every week. This is someone I speak to 10 times a day. I mean, that we are connected very much. She's connected to my partner, connected to me. We are very good, very, very close. And so they sent me a picture of a jigsaw puzzle that they do on their phone. It's like a phone puzzle.
Uh-huh.
So that, I think, is probably part of the jigsaw that you referenced.
Well, remember what a jigsaw is anyway.
Right.
It's a part of your life.
Right. Of course.
And the interaction of it. And I can't 100% guarantee the word will fully explain the message.
Right.
I don't know the full message. I can only say the words that come to mind. So
correct.
The fact you've gone into that and it's become more clarified validates the term jigsaw.
Absolutely. So,
I'm amazed.
Yeah, as am I. So before we move on, I'm going to be a little selfish at this point, right? Is there anything else that you're getting from this interaction before we jump back into interview stuff?
I have no idea.
Okay. want to make sure that we don't miss anything, because this is really powerful stuff. So Graham, we talked about the legitimacy, right? Where can I find? How do I select a medium, right? I would imagine that it's like a matchmaker, right? You have to get a good feeling.
Yeah. Again, this is where the psychic part comes in, because a lot of people, well, every human being has a psychic ability.
Everyone does.
Yeah. And whether you listen to it to make it better, stronger, clearer, by practice. It's like you becoming a doctor.
Right.
You've got your intention, you've got to sit your exams, then you've got to go and do it. This is exactly the same with the psychic. You've got to listen to yourself and do it. And when you trust the energy of the person that you're with, you're either drawn to them with your intention, but is your intention clear? I want to have a reading from this person. Is that going to be good for me? You've got to ask questions out loud. You can't just think it.
Yeah.
Because that energy has to come from the mouth.
Interesting. Now, I want to comment on that in a second. I also want to tell you that Erica, this medium that we've got on Instagram, says she's hearing the name Carol. Is there any Carol in your life?
Oh yeah. Was.
So Carol is somebody it sounds like very important to. Do you want to explain that, or is that we'll just leave it there?
Carol was my aunt who passed away after I got to America, and we were very close. I helped her when her first husband passed away due to illness, and I've been in touch with her offspring ever since. But Carol was my mother's sister's daughter.
Mother's sister's daughter. Okay.
Wow.
So I don't know if you heard that, Erica, but Carol was someone that was very close to Graham, and it sounds to me too, if I could just make an observation, you moving to the States was a very pivotal part of your life, meeting your wife, also changing and growing within your medium career. So it seems to me like Carol really existed at one of the most important parts of your life.
Yeah. Well, I've got, at the time, I've got, there's 8 of us, 7 other siblings. 5, myself included, lived in England all life until about 4 years ago. I found I've got 2 half sisters and a half brother over here.
Wow.
But the 5 of us lived in England. We were always in our aunts' homes, uncles' homes. There was a lot of siblings for my mother. And because my mum was a rescue medium and worked with the Church of England to help people who died traumatically, as I said earlier, we learnt the basics. But when she had 5 children, she stopped being a medium. because she wanted to devote herself to us materially. Because it does take a lot of conviction and energy. And she was a nurse for the mentally and physically challenged, as was my stepfather. And they both did a phenomenal amount of changing the terminology of retards, spastics, subnormals into mentally and physically challenged people.
Interesting.
And we learnt about spirit was an everyday occurrence. And it wasn't a negative.
Right.
We knew of negativity, and we've read the Bible, we've read the books, seen the movies, the vampires. And all. I love vampire movies and horror stories when I was younger.
Yeah.
Because it was, is this real?
Yeah.
How did people imagine things?
Right.
To make them what they are. Even like Star Trek. Look at the flip phone. Now we've got flip phones like Star Trek.
Absolutely.
You know, X-ray machines that look through the body. You know what?
And it begs the question, right? And a lot of folks will say that science fiction often informs science, but the other part of that is, what is the difference between science and magic, right? Magic is just something we haven't been able to explain yet, right? Exactly. And so there's all these things that are mentioned. Now I just want to make sure that I'm getting you this information, because we've got some connection going on between you, myself, and Erica. So I don't want to skip this.
Okay.
Yeah. Erica says 3 things. Heart issues. Oh no, 2 things. Heart issues and playing in a farming area. Do either of those make anything connection to you? He played in the farming area.
Well, the heart issue, yeah, because we loved each other as brothers and sisters. Because our families were so interconnected. Yeah, and we used to walk 3 or 4 miles to each other's homes. You know, we were always. I'm going up to see Maisie, going to see June, so going to see Carol, going to see all the Lloyd and everybody. So that was the heart connection. And what was the other part?
Playing in a farm area. She said he played in a farming area.
Well, we lived in Castle Donington, which is the centre of the East Midlands, central England. Okay. And it's very rural. Okay. And we used to work on farms part-time, help the farmer just for the sake of it. Right. And we used to play on the old Wellington Bomber Airport.
Wow.
World War II, that then became East Midlands Airport. And
interesting.
Farmers were all around that.
Wow. So if you couldn't hear that, Erica, Graham lived in a very rural part of England, and also I'm going to get the name wrong, but something Farmers Airport. There was a Farmers Airport that they played in. It was surrounded by
World War II, Wellington Bomber Airport.
Wellington Bomber Airport. Oh, Bomber Airport. Interesting. That's wild. Very cool. The heart issues, you may actually, we could talk about my heart issues, as I do have a heart problem. So that you may be, because I've heard this before. I did some research before you came on, but you may be feeling his energy through me, and so it may be impacted by my heart. Is that something that could be?
Yeah, because we're connected in the energy, and we're wanting it to be improved. The energy can flow easier. If you didn't want it, the attitude would be completely different.
Because it would be a disjointed kind of connection, right?
The intention would be different. Yeah.
Got it. This is wild.
And we're affecting the cameras as well.
Really?
The electricity, you just like in and out there, the light just got brighter, darker.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, also, so to this point, Erica, Cece, who is our producer running the 1s and 2s,
has a heart condition.
Has a heart issue as well. She said, no, it's him. I'm connected to him. Yeah. So I don't know. You know, it could be.
Well, Erica, I can actually say I have had, what do they call it? Oh, forget this. I can't think consciously. I've had, it's similar to angina, but it's not. It's to do with the lining around the heart.
Angina. Yeah.
You probably know. I forget the term at the moment, but it's the lining around the heart that temperature change makes it go into spasm. Yes. So when the cold temperature comes, my heart goes, and I had to have a chewable aspirin just before I came on the show.
Got it. So there is a heart issue with Graham as well. That's incredible. Absolutely incredible. So I want to make sure that, typically at the 40-minute time is when the millennials like me, we lose our ADHD brain. So I want to make sure that I'm conscious of time. I want to ask a couple more questions, and I'll let you go. So number one is so we've talked about how I connect with the medium. How do we find you? Your website, I see your email across the screen. How do we find you?
Well, I'm on Facebook, so look up Graham Williamson. You can see my face. You know what I'm like.
Graham Williamson, great.
Yeah. Or my email is amedium77. It's all one word. amedium77@gmail.com. Send me an email with your questions. I can help. I can do private readings, all by phone. And I have to say this: I'm in Florida, USA, on 352-409-1060. Leave a voice message, otherwise you don't get a reply.
Because it could be a spam call or whatever.
Yeah. And I love doing gallery readings. I love doing private readings. I do a lot of one-to-one readings on phone, text, video, you name it. It doesn't matter, even the letter.
Now, on that note, Erica wants to send you her love, by the way. She's logging off.
Thank you.
She says thank you. On that note, I think I know the answer to this, but I could be wrong. Does your ability to read and feel change for better, worse, or whatever when you change the mode of conversation, whether it be text, phone, video, or in person?
No. To me, because I don't control it in that sense consciously, my intention is, what can I do? Will you help me do the connection better to help the person that needs my help with spirit? And I just react. It's automatic for me because I've been doing it so long. I don't think about it. And I'm astonished, as I say, all the time when I do this. My wife says, but you should be used to it. You've been doing it all your life. To get that connection that's verified 100%, just think of that connection. It's like in your heart, in your mind, everything just going, whoo. I realize there's a stint in that. I'm not.
Is that? Are you speaking to?
Oh, I've never diagnosed any medical issue in anybody's heart.
Got it.
Because as I say, I cannot legally give that diagnosis.
Yeah.
If I said to anybody, "Hey, look, I can feel strain," obviously it's emotional and or physical.
Sure.
If I go and see a doctor or medical, have you had medical advice? I cannot say, oh, you need to have an operation or you've had an operation and you've had a stint, because that would be diagnosing. I can't do that. I'm not legally entitled to do that. I could. That
makes sense. Yeah. That makes sense. But could you say to someone, if I came to you and you felt something off, could you say to me, Christopher, after this conversation, I think you should go see your doctor?
Well, I would term it in a way that you felt very comfortable, no pressure.
Yeah.
It's like with your foot, with your sciatic. If you found out you've got a sciatic issue, then I would say, what about supporting your arches? Because I can feel that arch is really not really comfortable. So have you seen a foot specialist?
Right.
In that way, I'm not actually telling you a diagnosis. I'm just making a suggestion.
Right. No, that makes a ton of sense. So,
can you put that back up again, Cece? Okay, it's what we have in our brain is what I'm thinking of, that someone thinks we have in our heart. Yeah, the connection there is to do with the brain as one entity and the heart as another, as two brains. It's been released the last year and a half that we have two brains, the heart brain and the skull brain.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's why people who have had a transplant have such difficulty adapting personally. The character of the heart is different from the character that used to own the heart.
Oh, I've heard that before. Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that.
The energy of the heart is different. And that's why they have to have these suppressants in the heart.
Interesting.
To calm the heart down because it doesn't feel comfortable.
Very interesting. Yeah, I'm looking that up right now. Yes. Okay. So the cardiac nervous intrinsic cardiac nervous system.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. So I want to make sure I want to make sure we've gotten everything. Is there anything, Graham, that we have not touched upon that you'd like to before we let you go?
All I ask of people is do not expect a medium to tell you every single thing that's wrong or right with you, or give you the future. If you look backwards into your life, you can actually ascertain by learning from it what you do this moment can make you have a better life. But you've got to be owning your past.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
especially if you want to form a relationship with somebody, you've got to be honest 100%. Otherwise, you're putting a facade up for that person to meet you and say, oh, I like you, but what else is there?
Well, because you don't know yourself.
Exactly. If you don't know yourself, how can you tell somebody this is the whole me?
Right. Because you don't know the whole you. I love that. And I think it's important, too, to note that one of the things that you said, and then we'll let y'all go. The thing that I think is important to you that you said is a medium or a psychic, whomever, is not going to tell you, A, everything you need to know, and B, they might not give you the answers that you're looking for. And I think there's a couple of things to be noted about that. One is they give you the information that comes to them, that speaks to them. But number two is, I don't, and maybe I'm incorrect in saying this, please correct me. You don't go into a psychic or medium reading seeking answers, because that has to come from within, right? If you go in looking for answers, you're not going to be satisfied.
Well, you're seeking understanding.
Yes.
To understand something. And
yes.
If you want a specific, what you want is not necessarily what you need.
Yes.
And a medium gives you what you need, not necessarily what you want.
100%.
If you go in with that attitude that I'm going to get what I need, then you'll get a better reading.
Absolutely.
Again, so, your intention has to be the same.
Absolutely. 100%. So Graham Williamson, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. This was the Barber Shop at WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network Radio. Now, I was not a skeptic at all, but I'll say now that I'm a believer for sure. If you want to reach out to Graham, all of his contact information is there. I want to thank you so much for your energy and for your time on the show tonight. This is the Barber Shop. I'm Dr. Christopher Salute, and with Graham Williamson.
Definitely. Thank you, everybody, for asking all the questions, Chris, and the people. Thanks, Charlie and Erica.